Boom. We are live. Live, live, live. Death Curse Club. We're live on a very special day, my birthday. We're going to talk this new trailer that dropped for 28 years later. Then we're going to get into some news, something with Smile 3, something with Evil Dead. I can't wait to talk about it, and maybe a nice little conversation at the end, because you know how I like to do this show. I like to talk about other properties and kind of make a game with them, ranking and stuff. We'll see if we'll be able to do that with this. I don't know. Don't worry about the performance. Don't tell me about the performance. Don't you do it. All right, this is the show.
We'll never come back again. It's got a death curse. It's got a death curse. Drop.
Everything is happening. I don't know how it's coming off. I don't know if it's showing up well. I hope this show reaches you well. I am Zach Hilton. It is my birthday. Happy birthday to I. And if this is your first time on this channel, maybe as a birthday present, you should go ahead and just subscribe and do all that. If you're listening to this on podcast, or if you prefer podcast, we're on Spotify, Apple, all those things. Do it there. Rate, review, love things, love me, love you too. All right, let's get into this bad mammy jammy. Today, we were gifted way earlier in the morning because I was going to do a reaction. My plan was to react to this, but they dropped it at like 3 a.m. Like, I haven't seen a trailer get dropped so early in my life, which maybe it makes more sense for, the UK. Maybe it was better timing for them to get it, which I understand because Danny Boyle in the original, like, Cillian Murphy star of this. But they dropped it so early. I didn't get to do the reaction because I knew work would get in the way. But we're here. We're here to talk about it 28 years later. As you can see there's your boy, Craven the Hunter himself, Aaron Taylor Johnson. He's starring in this new one. And let me just start off with this series as a whole. For me, it started in 2002. I wasn't really the zombie guy back then. I know, like, there's been a wave of zombie movies throughout the years. And this was on the wave of starting the trend, because this movie does well. Then we get Dawn of the Dead, then we get Shaun of the Dead, then we get Land of the Dead. Like, zombie movies were a big thing, happened at that point. But for me, wasn't a big fan of those up until probably Dawn and Shaun. So when I initially saw this in 2002, I wasn't really in love. And I think, if I'm right, I want to say Resident Evil was coming out around the same time. I could be wrong. If you know, just go ahead and comment. But keep it kind. So I wasn't really in love with the fact, other than zombies can run. Like, that was the big thing about this movie, was the zombies were fast-paced sprinters, could get it done. And for me, I wasn't in love with it. Danny Boyle, it showed on the trailer of the original, director of Trainspotting, director of The Beach. Like, him jumping into horror was very interesting to me. And then to know that he's coming back to direct this was kind of insane. Like, it made me think of Ridley Scott, and this is prelude to the game I want to do later. How Ridley Scott came back to the Alien franchise so far past when they've left these. I mean, you're talking about 25 years plus that Danny Boyle hasn't set foot as the director of this. He didn't direct part 2, like 2007's 28 Weeks Later. He didn't. But all this going down, knowing this movie's coming out, trailer released today, and I am very interested in this movie. The trailer did such a wonderful job of, like, atmosphere, showing you, like, back then, 2002, how everything started, how it begun, weeks later how the infection, and now they've evolved. Like, I don't have the one poster, I wish I did, but the one poster, you know what, I have it on my phone, so I can at least tell you what that poster said. And the poster says, it in 28 days it began, in 28 weeks it spread, in 28 years it evolved. What a very interesting, like, kind of evolve evolving, like they said, because you're talking about the original movie did some evolving with zombies already, so now going back into it and we're going to evolve it anymore. I'm very interested. Like, so many good shots in this. Scenery looks great. Looks like from just the trailer alone, looks like there's this town separated on an island, and everybody has a job. There's farmers, there's people that hunt, there's people that are security, and it looks like Aaron Taylor Johnson's role is like he goes out and hunts. So I'm very interested to see, like, what are they going out for. And through this we're also seeing soldiers. We're seeing one, like, monstery looking dude, like tall as all get out, battling these guys. So it's interesting to me of, like, is he the evolution? What about him? Like, if I was just going off of what I saw in the trailer, I could be completely off target here, so don't come at me. But from what I kind of gathered is, like, he looks human. Like, there's a shot in the trailer where it shows his face kind of, and he just looks normal. So it makes me wonder if, like, is he a zombie who is not infected in the way of, like, how their bodies look and stuff like that, but, like, is he more human, like, more to do with human, but he has all these attributes that zombies have, or something, like how fast they can go and what they can do. Like, I'm very interested in it. And then there was a shot, and I do have a screenshot of that, and I'm going to pull that bad boy up right now. Bing, bang. This zombie shows near the end of the trailer, and boy, oh boy, I think that's Cillian Murphy. There was rumor Cillian Murphy was cameoing in this. Like, at first it was, oh, he's going to be in it, and then I think it got dwindled down to a cameo. And then seeing this in the trailer, immediately my mind went to, that's got to be him. It looks just like how he looked in 2002, like super skinny face. I mean, he doesn't have the chops like he did in that movie, but this kind of gives result. Now, you can either say, why did you spoil it for the trailer? Or you could say, that's kind of rad that, like, we're going to get that resolve from the first movie. I'm very in. I think this could be a good movie. I do want to see, I'm pulling up the IMDb at the moment. So let me pull up its gimmick so you can see it as well. Bing, boom, there it is. Also, Mufasa's coming to theater, as you can see. That's all happening. Is it showing? It should be showing. Yeah. I don't trust the internet. Do not trust the internet. There we go. All right, let me do some things here. So, looking at this, it's, directed by Danny Boyle, and one of the writers is Danny, but also Alex Garland is writing this. And if I'm right, Alex Garland wrote The Ridge. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, you're talking that. Oh, okay. Alex Garland, writer of Ex Machina, which I saw Men, but I hear that's, like, you like it or not. Annihilation, I do. So I do like that movie. He directed that, and I saw recently he was want to direct anymore. I'd rather just write. But see, he wrote Sunshine, which I absolutely love. So it's going back to the Ridge crew. Like, it's the director of the original, it's the writer of the original, and there we go. Thanks. So he wrote The Beach as well, and he did 28 Days Later. What are we doing? This is what I'm talking about. Like, I respect Alex's writing a lot. Like I love his work, and I became more of a fan later on through like Sunshine. Sunshine was the beginning for me with Alex. So him coming back to this, I'm in. Like I think this could be one of the best horror movies that we get in 2025. I'm looking forward to this. But what say you? What do you think about that trailer? Have you seen the 28 years trailer? 28 years later trailer. Remember 28 days with Sandy Bullock? That was the prequel to this. It was 28 days, then 28 days later. And we're in the series. This is technically part 4. Don't lie to me. Other news that we've gotten. Oh, I'm going to do another trailer. I don't know if you've checked this out. This is on Apple, coming to Apple, The Gorge. And I knew nothing of this movie. I knew absolutely nothing. And watching it, it stars Miles Teller and Anna Taylor-Joy. Yes, so much AJ's on the show today. And it's about two, like, very military people on opposite ends of this gorge. And it's Miles Teller and Anna. And they're not allowed to communicate. They're not allowed to like be near each other or whatever. And through it, they learn that this thing is a gateway to hell. We don't know exactly what that means. We don't know if there's monsters down there. We know nothing. But through the trailer, you can see that they are starting to communicate through written letters with binoculars and stuff like that. And then I think they give away a little too much. So just in case if you don't want to watch the trailer and don't want to know, shit goes down near the end of it. But I guess you kind of have to show those action beats. That's the only thing I can think of. So all that goes down. This trailer, it's I think it comes out in February on Apple. I'm in because Apple, they rarely miss on their TV. I'm not so sure on their movies yet, but a horror movie, Anna Taylor, Aaron Taylor, all the Taylors are in these movies. Let me just see The Gorge. The Gorge. We're going to look up The Gorge and we are going to figure out, what's good about it. All right, let's see. The Gorge. All right, so I'm going to pull up this for the show. That's right. I don't podcast anymore. I just talk into a mic while I look at the screen, and you're joining along with me. So welcome to the party, pal. All right, here we go. The Gorge. Again, I suggest. Oh, that's right. I forgot it said in the trailer. Direct Scott Derrick, the director of Doctor Strange, the first one, The Black Phone, which I love, and Sinister. A lot of people love Sinister. Like, okay. And the movie does give off a very creepy vibe with very little budget. I feel I think they're going to save their budget for special effects. It's not like they got a lot, but the perfect director to kind of film that. I just want to see who Zach Dean is in like writing credits. Okay, he has a lovely, lovely head of hair. So we got that. And his IMDb's got a Getty Image, baby. You damn right. Okay, so best known for The Tomorrow War, which I've never seen, Facts X, oh God, and Deadfall. That's what he's best known for. His credits, he's written this. Voyagers, oh my God. All right. So I'm not going to hate immediately. My man is a sci-fi writer. I will give him that. My man is all about the sci-fi. So I can't hate on the sci-fi. I'll put it that way. No hate here. Good job loving the sci-fi. The internet's acting all wonky, so I'm getting rid of the IMDb. No more IMDb on today's episode until I restart a computer. But you can also have all my information. Put up the information. Also, yeah, follow us on Instagram and Threads, Death Curse Club. Why don't you? So this movie, very sci-fi. It seems you have the sci-fi level of the writer Zach. You have the horror direction from the director Scott Derrickson. I think this could be fun. I'm into it, and it's on Apple. It's not going to go to theater. I'm okay with that. I mean, for me, when you watch a streaming movie, there are levels of streaming movies, and I think that's where Apple wins a lot. Is it may you definitely have seen a Netflix straight to Netflix movie, and you're like, Jesus Christ, why'd I waste my time? At least I feel with Apple, they're on the trend of like, you're gonna like it. It may not be your favorite thing you've ever seen, but you're gonna like it. I swear to God. Um, Other news that we got. God, I'm gonna have to pull up IMDb on my phone. We'll start with this. We'll start with Smile 3 news because I've already gotten that. Here we go. Smile 3. A Production Weekly listing indicates that the third Smile film will enter production in 2025. Filmmaker Parker Finn will return as writer-director for this third installment, but no plot details or cast have been revealed. The news follows the second film's release this past fall. Okay. I don't think it's a surprise. I love Smile 2. I love both Smiles. I think the first time the first one I watched at home, and I didn't know what I was getting into, and I thought that was wonderful. I saw Smile 2, blew me away because it was one of those things where like you could tell they gave it a little more budget, but I think that was kind of the point of the movie, like the point of the budget to be this big world just gets boom, we're in it now. And I love that about the film. And Naomi Scott just absolutely killed it in that role as Riley. But I love both those movies, and getting out of this news, that's exactly what I like to hear. I love that Parker's coming back to write and direct this. I think he is wonderful for this world. It reminds me of like Lee Winnell with the Insidious world, how much he knows about it and how he is that backbone. If you would have told me he wasn't returning at least as writer, if he wasn't returning at least as writer, I think I'm out because he's got the scope of this. And the way that Smile 2 ends, it kind of feels like it warranted this third movie. So I like it when a filmmaker gets to complete the journey. I'm not saying they're going to go past Smile 3. I'm not saying any of that. But I do feel we have a trilogy at least in mind, and Parker is the one who needs to finish that up because especially with how part 2 ends, and I would like more. That's how I feel about that. That's what I was looking up. Okay, so our final bit of news today that I want to get into, yet another movie. This was a picture on the internet from the director, and I'm sorry, I am going to not butcher this man's goddamn name, but a picture from the director put it out there. This is a movie coming out, Evil Dead Burn, written by this man and this person, and it's directed by this man. And at the bottom, I do like that it says based on The Evil Dead by Sam Raimi. So what's wild is if I go to, so there's nothing on IMDb yet except the director and writer's credits. So my man has only done 2 films, Crocs and Infested, and I don't think I've seen Infested. Looks absolutely horrifying with the poster that's on IMDb, which has like a spider coming out of a shoe. Go fuck yourself, because the poster alone I'm just scared about. And looking at the other writer, he wrote Infested with him. He's also done a little bit more film wise. A lot of overseas stuff that I have not seen. So this kind of just reminds me of what we just got with Evil Dead Rise, where we find talented filmmakers from all around the world, and they're coming in with their flavor for the franchise. And I like it. My apprehension of this is when I saw Fede Alvarez's 2013 and it wasn't going to be based on Ash's world, like he had nothing to do with it, unless if you spoilers for 2013, you watch the post credit and it goes groovy. That's what it does. Besides that, the movie is based on a whole set of new characters, but it was in the cabin that we knew. Like you saw the car, you saw the cabin. I mean, still S was going down, which is all gravy, baby. Loved it. Then when we were treated with, what was it, 2022, 2023's Evil Dead Rise, they came out, they were like, look, this is the deal, we're going to make this franchise and we're going elsewhere, we're going different places, it's not just going to be trapped in the cabin. This one was based in an apartment complex, and it is fucking disgusting, like in a good way. Like there are moments in this movie that are just jaw-dropping gross, and I like that. I think that's the thing about Evil Dead, is that you want these disgusting images and these crazy deadites that come out and demons and stuff like that. And I enjoyed the movie. When I left Rise, I was like, I like that. I didn't love it because the way they began the movie like, oh, it's on a lake. I wonder if this lake is by the cabin from the original movie. They didn't really get into it. They didn't need to get into it, but I still was just like, it was good. It was a good movie. I am leaving the theater satisfied with my Evil Dead. When I hear Evil Dead Burns, the first thing that comes into my mind is like, okay, so we're yet again going on a different adventure that's not going to connect to anything that we've seen. I don't know offhand. Like I said, all I am basing this off is the picture. I'm not sure if we're going to follow the last crew we saw. And for me, I like my connectivity at least a little bit, especially when we still live in a world where like Ash has comics coming out, Ash has cartoons coming out. He's in the Retro Realms game for the Ash vs. Evil Dead series. Like, I love my Evil Dead, but like you guys are kind of spreading this so wide that like, where's the connective tissue to characters? Because for me, it's not all about the goriness and the messiness. I love my characters, and I love my Ash Williams. I love the heroine in the last movie. I don't know. For me, I want to get back to, okay, let's try to beat these things, not just, okay, let's spin a fucking wheel to see where we're, okay, we did the skyscraper. Take that off the list. Okay, so no Evil Dead Die Hard. What's the next place? Let's go to a trailer park. That'll be the next one. That's fucked up, right? Yeah, I guess. Sure. What are we doing? Oh, you want to go to a mall? Sure. Put the mall on the list. We'll start throwing some things. Where do we want to have Evil Dead next? Which is, I guess, cool, but hey, connective tissue, please. That's all I ask for in my series. Yeah, so that's what I've gotten this week. I'm going to probably start a Death Curse Club gaming channel because I've done some research and I don't want to mess with my own show's algorithm to not do well, because one thing's video games, one thing's TV movies and such like that. So I'm probably just going to have this be news and rankings and stuff like that moving forward, and then doing video games. And if you like that kind of stuff, I suggest you follow us on, God damn it, my stuff's gone again. Follow us on Instagram, Death Curse Club, and Threads, Death Curse Club, because I'll probably post all that going forward. Once again, I am Zach. Thanks for joining me today. Like I said, it is my birthday. If you could subscribe to any of these platforms, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, any of these, Amazon, do Amazon. They're pretty cool, right? If you could do that, that would be great. Before I leave, the first story was about how Danny Boyle came back, and I said how like Ridley Scott came back, and it's just making me think. I don't know if it's horror that, you know what? Fuck that. Yes, it is going to be horror. This entire episode, I've been trying to think of what director would I love for them to come back to do something from when they started their career. And a lot of directors have not needed to do that. And this one specific one just came to my mind. May it be straight horror, may it be sci-fi horror, maybe it's just sci-fi. I don't care. I am begging for Steven Spielberg to come back and do something of that world. And I know we all grow and we move on for things that we want to film and stuff like that. But for me, Steven Spielberg hasn't made one of these types of films since like 2005's War of the Worlds. I think that's the last one. Could be wrong, could be right, who knows. But I would absolutely love if Steven Spielberg came back into this world of just horror and sci-fi. I think he was trying to pass the baton to good old J.J. Abrams over there to have him do it, which I'm not saying that was a mistake or anything. I'm just saying, ooh. But yeah, I think Steven Spielberg's the one I want to do. Because when I think of horror directors that still play in horror, I like Sam Raimi. Like, he's still in there. There's no reason to get him to do anything. He's doing Doctor Strange 2s and 3s and doing his own horror things. I loved when he finished the Spider-Man trilogy and then he came with Drag Me to Hell. Oh my God. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I need Steven Spielberg to do. I need him to do a horror or horror sci-fi, like I said. Whatever you want to do, Steven. Ball's in your court. But what say you? Comment below. Comment on Spotify. Comment on anything that allows it. What would you like? Would you like to see a director come back? What's the director? Who's the director you want to come back to horror to do one more round of horror? All right. That's the question. That's your homework for the week. We'll talk about it next week. Thanks for watching, listening. Do whatever you're doing. We shall spook you later. Bing, bang, boom. End that stream.